Not eating meat? Say goodbye to your head.
People don't last very long without eating. Just look what happens the minute everyone gets on a bus or a train in Lithuania. The air is immediately full of the sound of crackling wrappers and the smell of cucumbers and smoked sausage. So passengers are acting as if they lived in the Middle Ages, you say? Well, you're absolutely correct. The Lithuanian love for meat traces back to very distant and austere times. While 90% of Europeans were starving, barons and kings were doing just fine, enjoying every opportunity to eat roasted meat and hold feasts. It was an inseparable part of noble culture. Even the city of Vilnius was founded after a hunt, a grand feast, and a vivid dream. But there was one thing that got European leaders to give up meat, at least temporarily, once a year, during the Christian fast that preceded the celebration of Christmas. In Vilnius, however, the smell of roasted meat never stopped wafting from the pagan-ruled castle. During one such feast, the Lithuanian Grand Duke Algirdas noticed that 2 attendants hadn't touched their meat. It turns out they'd been baptized for some time and were now observing their fast. After refusing to obey their ruler's command to eat meat, the fasting men were thrown behind bars. Since the conditions in the dungeon were so horrid, the older of the 2 men asked to be let back into court. But life as a free man soon turned bitter. The man became the target of scorn from Vilnius pagans and Christians alike. He again refused to eat meat and soon found himself in prison again, from where he and his brother were then taken directly to the gallows. Public executions were carried out near where the Gates of Dawn stand today. Strange as it may seem, this punishment failed to drive fear into the heart of another young attendant in Algirdas's court. The Grand Duke ordered the man to be whipped with canes and his belly filled with cold water poured down his mouth. Even after all of that, the man refused to touch any meat. Algirdas then commanded that the man's legs be broken, his skin peeled off from ankle to knee, his scalp removed, and his nose and ears cut off. Only after which he was to be hung. As if impervious to the suffering to come, the condemned man walked joyously toward the palm trees where he was to be hanged. People say that not a single animal approached the man's body in the 3 days he hung from the tree. We'd be naive if we took everything we heard as factual reporting. We should remember though that people were tortured in European public squares until the 18th century. What should actually surprise us is the fact that by the late 14th century, Algirdas adopted a more lenient approach and constructed an Orthodox church on the former execution site. Perhaps he thought that sometimes it's actually worth it to skip the meat.